It's time to get fired up, all you fight fans. Welcome to Rings and Cages AZ, where we bring you hot takes on all things fight in the Copper State. All the latest news and updates in this hotbed of combat sports that we call Arizona. Let's go. And now, your host and on-fire fight sports super fan, Chuy.
As a sports writer and as a fight fan, I've had my chance to go to numerous events, big and small, including Brandon Moreno's first UFC championship win here in Glendale. Got a chance to see Miesha Tate in one of Strikeforce's last events before they were purchased by the UFC. And on top of that, I've been to numerous local shows, more than I can count. And I got a chance this past Saturday, the 20th, to see another local event. It was a kickboxing event by Golden Cobra Promotions. It was at Bullshooters Billiards and Sports Bar in Peoria. It was a show that featured local fighters from California, Nevada. When I was there and I was getting swept up in all the crowd cheering and the yelling and the energy of the fighters and everybody in the audience, it reminded me why I love going to local shows as much as I do. So today, what I want to talk to you about is just 5 reasons why I love local shows and why you should too. Number 5, why I love going to local shows. It's more affordable. That should be obvious. Paying hundreds of dollars for one ticket to an event at Footprint Center, Chase Field, Glendale Arena. And when you compare that price to, say, a $40 ticket, a $50 ticket, a $60 ticket to a local show, if I know anything about which number is smaller than the other, it's definitely that number for the cost of a ticket to a local show. And that's not even getting into food and refreshments. Big shout out to Bullshooters for having that food and refreshments, by the way. But it's just more affordable. And so if you are a hardcore fight fan and you want to just check out some fights, local's probably the way to go. Especially if you're on a budget. If you're not a big time fight fan, keep listening. So I'm going to turn you into one before it's all said and done. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, maybe not the week after, but soon. You'll be a fight fan. And I'll be looking forward to standing next to you and cheering. Reason number 4 why I love going to local shows. Let me put it this way. Maybe 1/4 the cost of what you might pay to go see a UFC event at one of these big arenas with 10 to 15,000 other people. For about 1/4 of the cost, you can buy a ticket to a local show. And instead of sitting hundreds of feet away, hundreds of feet in the air, in the case of this past weekend's event, you'll be sitting no more than 50 feet away from the ring. No more than 50 feet, up close and personal with those fighters. Seeing the look in their eyes as they try to get that victory. I gotta tell you, that's a different kind of experience. When you can see every movement that they're making. Much as I loved seeing Brandon Moreno win that title, would have been great to have been 50 feet away from that ring, 50 feet away from that cage. And that's something that if you're a true fight fan, you want to experience. And local shows, that's where you can experience it. Reason number 3 why I love going to local shows. Now, I know I keep going back to this, but going to see that UFC event in Glendale, watching Brandon Moreno win the title, obviously there was a huge crowd eruption when he won that belt, and we all loved it. But as excited as we were, none of us knew Brandon Moreno personally. And the level of, I guess, emotional investment that we had in his victory, while it was quite a bit, it was a clear showing for him that we just wanted him to succeed. The level of investment that we had in him was just not quite the same as what you're going to find at a local show. Because when you're at a local show, the fighters, they love to bring in their family, their friends, their teammates. This past Saturday, when I was at the Golden Cobra Promotion show, there was a huge cheering section just for fighters from Peterson's Grapplers. It's a team that traveled well. And the way they cheered on their fighters, no matter what, it's hard not to get caught up in that kind of emotion. And it's hard not to, for me, it's hard not to cheer for someone just because I happen to be in their cheering section. I may not know the fighter personally, but when you're in their cheering section and you realize you're sitting next to that fighter's mom or dad or wife or husband or sister, brother, their kids, right? It's someone's mom or dad in that ring. That's just a cool experience. And it's a cool experience as a fan, as a spectator. And yes, seeing those bigger shows and cheering on for your favorite fighter, that someone you've seen on TV is a great experience. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not a great experience. I'm just saying that it is a slightly different experience when you are there with people who personally know that fighter, who have met that fighter, who are in that fighter's life and therefore have that much more reason to cheer for him or her. And that's something I hope everyone gets to experience as a fight fan or as any kind of sport fan, really. Reason number 2 why I love going to local shows is the fighters themselves. When you have less than 5 fights under your belt, obviously the technique may not be as crisp as the more experienced fighters at these bigger shows who've had 20, 30, 40 fights under their belt. But the hunger is definitely there. The fire is definitely there. For a fighter who's making their debut in particular and just more than anything wants to have a good showing and show that they've earned the right to be in that ring or in that cage, and they want to show that they're going to leave it all out there. And they want to, again, they're fighting for friends and family a lot of times. So they want to show their friends and family what they've learned, and to some extent that it was worth it buying that ticket from them. It was worth it to go to that show and watch them fight. And when you're starting out in your fighting career, you definitely need the experience of being on these local shows. And the best way to do that is not just to go out and win, but to go out and perform well and show your heart, show your toughness, show that you can put on an exciting fight, because that's how you build a fan base. And that's how you get more people to come see you. And promoters take notice of that. So I hate to keep ragging on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but when he quit in the middle of his fight, that kind of convinced me that if he comes to town again, I'm probably not going to go see him. I'm certainly not going to spend hundreds of dollars on a ticket to go see a fighter who I've already seen quit. But I would certainly, as a fan, would love to spend $40, $50 to go see a friend fight who I know is going to put on an exciting fight, who I know is not going to quit, who I know is going to compete till the end. You know, whether it's a stoppage, whether it's a hard fought decision victory. You want to see those fights as a fan, as a spectator. I'm not going to say that you're not going to see that kind of fight at one of these bigger events, whether it's UFC, Bellator, whether it's Golden Boy Promotion. You certainly can see those fights, and you certainly will see hungry fighters who are maybe on the prelims, you know, on the untelevised fight, the guys who are making their UFC debut or facing being cut from the UFC if they lose. But what I have found personally is that you're more likely to see these exciting fights, these knockdown, drag them out kind of fights at a local show, because everyone at that local show, every fighter is hungry. Every fighter there wants to make that name for themselves, wants to build that following, wants to be on the next card. And especially with amateur fighters, you know, that they can sell some tickets themselves. That's might be the only way that they can earn money from fighting for the time being, until they feel ready to turn pro. So if you are a fan of exciting fights in particular, absolutely, I recommend going to a local show for that. Reason number 1 why I love going to local shows is I like going to see, you know, who might be the next big name, who's a prospect that might turn big. So I've had a chance to see a few fighters before they made their UFC debut. Jocelyn Leibarger, Esteban Payan, John Moraga, even Justin Gaethje. I got a chance to see him at a Rage in the Cage event way back when, before he made it to, you know, the biggest of big stages. I got to see Tracy Cortez at Celebrity Theater in Phoenix. And when you've seen these fighters from early on in their career and suddenly they've made it, kind of gets you emotionally invested into them too. And for some reason you feel a sense of pride because, you know, that's, in a way to speak, it's your fighter. That's somebody that you followed, somebody that you've been a fan of, someone you've been cheering on since they were 2 fights into their career. In my case, I think it was like 3 fights with Tracy Cortez. So knowing that you were a fan from the beginning, I don't know why. I guess it's a sports fan thing. You have to be a hardcore fan of someone, of something. of some team, of some person, of some fighter to be able to experience that kind of rush of knowing, hey, this person's made it. My fighter's made it. My athlete's made it. That's a big reason why I'm such a big fan of Tracy Cortez is I got a chance to see her early on in her career. And that's true of a lot of fighters that I got a chance to see early. And not just MMA, knowing that Tierra Brandt's now going to the Olympics. And I saw this kid before she was able to drive. She wasn't old enough to drive yet. And I was seeing her winning in amateur tournaments here in Arizona. And seeing Nick Chastain early on in his career. Now he's a pro Muay Thai fighter. Seeing Damian early in his career, K1 veteran. I don't know. It's just a cool feeling. It's something that can only be understood by other sports fans and maybe mean something a little more to fight fans that have watched a fighter from very early on in their career. So let's talk about this event. This is Chuy in the stands. This event was Bullseye Bash Clash Best in the West, a kickboxing event being held in Peoria. We had Peterson's Grappling coming all the way out from Valencia, California. They went 4-1, very impressive showing for that fight team. I did manage to catch up with one of the fighters, Bella Powell. Just want to play a little bit of what she had to say after her victory. Here at Bullseye Bash Clash, here with Bella Powell. How would you grade your performance tonight?
Out of 10?
Yes.
8 out of 10. I know a couple things that I can work on. A couple things that my coach was yelling at me. I wanted to throw them. I want to get my conditioning better so that I can be able to throw nonstop, be able to throw everything that my coach is yelling at me. Listening was good on my part. I followed through with everything my coach had planned for me beforehand, so I'm really proud of my performance.
Seemed to come up a lot tonight. Difference between Muay Thai versus kickboxing. Do you feel more comfortable under kickboxing rules, Muay Thai rules, a little bit of both?
A little bit of both, honestly, because I come from a Muay Thai gym, Yakubian Muay Thai. So training there has prepped me for any type of style, either kickboxing or Muay Thai. Even MMA, I have a little bit of everything, so I feel prepped for this fight.
So, still fairly early in your fight career, what are your aspirations as a fighter?
Compete internationally. That's the end goal. Compete internationally with Wacom.
With Wacom specifically?
Specifically.
Okay.
Right now, that's my goal. Right now, that's my goal. Once I get through that goal, once I overcome that barrier, get through all those girls, I'm going to look ahead and see what I have.
Is this your first time fighting in Arizona?
In Arizona, yes.
How'd you like it?
I like it. I mean, a fight is a fight, you know?
You seem to have your own cheering, well, your fight team had its own cheering section.
Yes.
Did that help?
You know, my corner is my corner. They'll always be there for me, and I'm happy and I'm grateful to have them. Yeah,
awesome.
It makes me happy.
Well, is there anybody else you'd like to thank before we go?
Yakubian Muay Thai, that's my gym. Peterson Grapplers helped me a lot, training with them, their people there. Sugarfoot, of course, and my family for always being that support.
All right.
For me.
Thank you. Go enjoy your victory.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Also got to give a quick shout out to Arizona Dragons out of Laveen, Arizona. They went 2-0 in the night, had Aiden Torres in the junior division, winning a first round TKO victory. This is a kid who has a good instincts for how to walk his opponent down, how to deliver pressure, how to land with power. Seemed to be a recurring theme because Jose Sanchez, also a fighter who managed to land with a good amount of power, rode some very devastating punches to his victory, had a good mind for when to throw, when to counter, how to walk his opponent down. So definitely something, whatever's going on at Arizona Dragons, they're doing well. Their fighters performed very well in this event. Big shout out to them. Looking forward to see what's happening with their fighters, with their fight team in the future. Stick with it, guys. This is your fight forecast. Coming up Saturday, July 27th, we have Kicks on Route 66 presented by Monster Promotions. This is a combination Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai event in Flagstaff, Arizona at the Flagstaff Athletic Club. You can purchase your tickets at Mystic Marketplace in Flagstaff. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu event will start at 2 p.m. The Muay Thai event starts at 5:30 p.m. If you're not able to make it in person, check out Flash Media Sports for the online stream. Visit 928 Monster Promotions on Instagram for more information. And on July 27th, we have Brawl in the Barrio presented by Del Sol Promotions, Arizona's premier boxing company. This is going to be at the American Royal Palace in Phoenix. Doors open at 4 p.m. First bell is going to be at 5 p.m. Rings and Cages AZ will be in attendance for this event, bringing you all the analysis and coverage that you can only get here. Make sure you visit DelSolBoxing.com to get your tickets. Follow Del Sol Boxing on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. See you there. Thank you for joining us ringside for another episode of Rings and Cages AZ, bringing you the blow-by-blow and hottest updates from MMA to boxing and beyond. This is everything you need to know about this hotbed of fighting we call Arizona. Fans, I want to hear from you. Do you attend local shows? If yes, tell us what you love most about them. If not, why not? Send us your responses to ringsandcagesaz@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow me on social media for more updates and exclusive content. Until next time.